Hello, beautiful human. You clicked on our interview with Alec Benjamin. You might know him, and if you don't, I'm really excited and honored to introduce him to you. I'm very rarely moved to tears when I listen to music, but Alec has done it to me a couple times. He is a storyteller beyond, and he's a unique human being. I really think you're going to get to know him, and I hope you enjoy him. Please leave your honest feedback in the comment section below. We do have a podcast, link in the description below, and it would be really cool if you subscribed. Okay, enjoy.
Let's do this. Zach Show.
Hey, we got Heather, we got Dan, and we welcome to the studio, Alec Benjamin.
All right.
Yay.
Yay.
Woo, I'm here.
I'm so happy to have you here, man.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
I'm getting that vibe from you. You're very excited.
I am.
You're very chill.
I'm trying to be.
Are you nervous?
I'm freaking out inside, yeah.
Why are you freaking out? What's causing this freak?
Well, first off, I have a gift for you.
Oh, gifts. Thank you so much.
I got these chocolates for you.
Thank you so much.
Because I feel like I do this thing. Yeah, I mean, I can't walk over there to give it to you right now, but I'll just put it right here. All right, okay.
There's a mysterious hand.
Thank you, okay.
Are you asking me to be your Valentine? We're a few months away.
No, well, sure. But I thought, like, it's nice to give people something when they're giving you, like, their time and respect and a forum for your thoughts and ideas and a place to express yourself. So those are for you. And then I always do it at shows, too. I like to give something away. Yeah.
Like what?
To the audience?
Yeah, to the audience.
What was the last thing you gave away?
The last thing I gave away was a car air freshener and a salami, a stick of salami.
Wow. Those are nice gifts.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's Alec's stick of salami, so it's worth something.
I love that.
By the way, your body warmth is on these chocolates.
It melted.
Yeah, I really appreciate this. Very few people come with gifts. You really are not only one of the nicest guys that I know and that I've met while living here in Los Angeles, but you really are one of the most talented, and you are such an incredible storyteller. And we've hung out a few times, and we've talked about you showing up here. I knew you were going to laugh at me saying that he's an incredible storyteller, but this dude ends up in my probably top 5 of,
thanks.
You are an awesome writer, and thank you for being here.
Thank you
for
saying those nice things.
It's been a crazy, I don't know, what would you say, crazy 2 months since Let Me Down Slowly hit Spotify?
Yeah. It's been really cool to have the song out and to start putting out new music. But I think, the craziest part about it was just the whole process of making the music and being in the studio and writing new songs and trying to figure out exactly what I wanted to say. I think that's the craziest part. Getting the music out has been really exciting too, so.
Because a lot of these records you've been sitting on, because there's some songs that you sent me months ago that I've heard that are now finally hitting the public's ears.
Yeah.
What is it like for you sitting on a record and just knowing that it deserves to see the light of day?
I actually, maybe this is the wrong way to describe it, but I'm always writing songs, and then when you have this whole, you have a bunch of songs that you haven't put out, a bunch of songs that you've worked on, it feels like writing new songs feels like when you really have to go to the bathroom really bad and you haven't gone, and then someone tries to feed you and you're like, I don't want to eat yet, I haven't gone to the bathroom. So now I finally feel like I'm getting to go to the bathroom.
That's a great way to put that.
That's how it feels. That's how it feels. You have all these feelings, right? Actually, it's crazy because the feelings have been in me for a long time, because my process is, I don't do it on purpose, but something bad or something happens to you, good or bad, and you want to write about it. But for me, I have to experience it first and then have a few months of time away from it, and then I can reflect on it.
Got it.
So some of these things that I've been writing about in songs and putting out have happened to me 2-3 years ago, and then I write the song a year later, and then I put it out a year later. So I've been waiting to go to the bathroom for a long time. To continue the metaphor, yeah.
What is your reflection period like? So you experience something, and do you just marinate in it for weeks on end, or do you reserve it and then come back to it?
Well, it's different every time, but when I'm writing a song, sometimes I don't know exactly what it's going to be about. I heard this thing that for every one conscious thought you have, like you have like 500 subconscious thoughts. I don't know if that's true or not. I read a lot of weird things online, so it could also be from a publication that's not reputable. And then someone in the comments is gonna be like, "That's not true."
It's an Onion article.
I studied this, and I think like I'll just be saying something or writing a song, and a melody will come out, and it will be paired with like a random word. I'm like, where's that word come from? And then I think about it. I'm like, oh, it makes sense because X, Y, and Z happened to me like 8 months ago or a year ago, and this is what my mind wants me to write about right now. So sometimes it's deliberate where I'm like, I'm gonna talk about this, and sometimes a word comes out and I'm like, this word fits perfectly with this thing that happened to me. And because I've had space and time away from it, I can put that together. Yeah.
Interesting. And you know, a lot of I feel like Alessia Cara was just here and she quoted Chris Martin. You know, this, and I don't want to misquote her quoting Chris Martin, but it was something along the lines of like the songs are just inside of you, right? Like the songs are in you, and when they come, they come. It kind of matches what you just said, right? Like,
yeah, some of them take a little bit longer and feel like maybe you had to work a little harder to get them, but some of them just kind of happen.
Let me down slowly. Let's dive right into this record.
Cool.
Is this from your life?
Yes.
100%?
100%. Yeah.
Tell me the story. I mean, obviously, I know the story from listening to it because it's vivid, but
I've been well, I never wrote like a lot of love songs or anything like that because how am I doing, by the way, so far? I was like, I haven't done that many interviews, so I'm like freaking out. I'm like,
doing a great job.
All of a sudden, I'm very aware of my body and my face. And oh, yo.
You look good. You feel good. Let's
Okay,
go.
cool.
you can sit back and relax.
I'm never quite sure like what I'm supposed to do with my hands too, you know?
You're doing okay.
And I don't dance or anything too. So like when I go to, I feel like I'm at a club, you know, and I'm like, whoa, like what is my body supposed to be doing right now? I've only been to one club though.
What club and how'd that go?
I went to a club in New York City one time because my cousins are like way more hip than me, and they took me, and it didn't go well, so they never took me again.
What'd you do?
Did you embarrass yourself?
Well, I just didn't do anything, you know. They were like out on the dance floor, you know, doing their thing, and I was kind of just like
Lurking.
you know, I figured out like I could move my head to the beat and kind of just like kind of fit in. But then my cousin, when I got home, he was like, yo, probably shouldn't do that again. I was like, it's all good. That's fine. Anyway, so to the song. I'd never written like love songs before, and I had my first girlfriend ever when I went to college, and it was just like a pretty simple moment of what happened, but I was just like, I was laying in my bed with her, and then she got up and left, and I don't think that she knew that I was awake, but I was. And it made me feel really sad, and that's what the song is about.
Did she never come back after that?
No, she came back, and we broke up for a totally different reason, but the song is about that time where I really thought it was going to end at that point.
Got it.
And it didn't end up ending at that point, but I felt really helpless, and there was nothing I could do about it, and so that's what the song is about.
When did you write the song?
I wrote the song in November of 2017, so like 7 months ago or something, 8 months ago.
Got it.
Something
like that.
I can't do
Give or
math.
take math.
Yeah.
And did you write it all yourself?
I worked on it with a couple of people, but the whole hook and all the lyrics I did on my own. So I was sometimes it depends. Some of my songs I write all the way through just on my own, and then sometimes like on the production or on the riff or whatever, I have a little help bringing everything together, and that's how that one happened.
Is it hard for you to walk into a studio with a song that you've completely done and allow a producer to kind of manipulate and do their thing to it?
It's actually the hardest part of the whole process. That's what the hardest part has been, is figuring out like what the songs are supposed to sound like once they're produced, because my main focus, I don't produce, so my main focus is always melody and lyrics, and then sometimes I get attached to the demo or just the acoustic version, and then a beat is on it, and sometimes you're like, yes, this is it, and other times it takes a minute, and so that has been the hardest part. So yeah, it's a scary process.
Was it hard for you to find producers that fit your sound? Because top to bottom, your lyrics are very vivid, they're super detailed, and your voice is really unique.
Thanks.
And you said it, like, a lot of these songs sound the best in the demo form when they're just acoustic. It's just you and your guitar. Hard to find the right producers to kind of add to that?
I think it's hard, but it's also not hard because there's not that many people. Yeah, it's been hard. it's been hard, and it's been hard. It's been hard for me, like recognizing what the right sound is too. So, but I found a couple of people that I really enjoy working with, and it's made the process really easy. So
Because I'm going back to how unique it is. Like, it doesn't necessarily fit a pop, like, kind of. It doesn't fit the pop formula necessarily, but the hooks are so strong and the lyrics are so great that they kind of do. But this is not clubby or dancey, and you don't want to distract from the lyrics. You kind of just want to support the lyrics. It's I understand why it would be challenging.
Well, that whole thing is challenging too, because you listen to a lot of music, and I used to live. Well, I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, and so in Arizona, like, there's not a lot of people who are making pop music, so I never used to pay attention to like what was happening or what kind of music people were listening to, and you kind of just made music and you showed it to your friends and they were like, yeah, it's cool, like whatever, you know. and out here there's a lot of amazing music happening, and just like not looking at some of those songs and being like, wow, that's amazing, like I wish I could do that. It's like you have to do what you're good at, and so keeping a focus and being like, no, like I don't have to make songs like that just because they're making something incredible, like that's their thing. I have to find like what my version of that is, and so that's been a really hard thing too, keeping my head right.
Is it hard because you feel like you can make a pop record and have it do well, but it's not true to you?
To be honest, I can only make the songs that I'm capable of making. I know some people are like, they can put a hat on and be like, well, I'm gonna write like for this person today. And I've done a couple of songs where I've written with other people. They're usually just like my homies, but I've never said that word before. In my head, I was like, I'll try it out. Like, and after it came out of my mouth, I was like, man, I just said my homies.
Never say it again.
Just bury that. But I think like, well, I don't even know what I was saying. Oh yeah, about writing for other people.
With your homies.
Yeah, with my homies. Yeah, sometimes I try things and they don't work. And yeah, it's okay. Like, I'm always open to people telling me like, hey man, don't do that again. So I appreciate I learned it here. I learned something today.
Hey man, don't say homies again.
But I can only write the songs that I can write. Sometimes I surprise myself and I write a song that's maybe a little bit more pop, but I write lyrics from experience and I like to tell stories, so it's hard for me to write from someone else's perspective.
Are you playing the game of I got to get a hit on the radio, or are you playing the long game where I think you have records, some that aren't out yet, but that I've heard that really could be records that last forever. They might not be #1 smash hits, but they tell enough of a story, they can be in movies, like...
Right.
What game are you playing?
The game I'm playing is to make the best possible song that I can make. I think when I disappoint myself, it's like I just want to make sure that I reach my full potential, whatever that is at the end of the day. Like, if my full potential is like a #1 hit record, then like that's awesome. I hope I get there. And if my full potential is like outside of the top 10 or not a hit record or whatever, like that's fine. But as long as I reach whatever that is, and that's great. And I know that because there are times where I'm like, I know I could have tried a little bit harder, or I know if I would have stayed in the studio like an extra 20 minutes, like I could have made that hook better. It's like I'm not trying to do it to fit any mold, but I know what I'm capable of, and so I just hope, and I don't know how that will manifest itself as far as like how many records I sell or whatever, but as long as I get to a point where I try my best. I know that sounds corny, but it's actually true. As I get older, there's so many things that I find out that are true, that your parents or your teachers said to you, like, you know, try your best. It's like, I was always like, yeah, for sure. But like, actually now I'm coming around to it, I'm like, oh yeah, I should try my best. That makes a lot of sense. Or like, think before you speak. Then you don't end up saying something like homies, you know, in an interview. But it's true.
Yeah. Absolutely accurate.
Let Me Down Slowly is about you. The Boy in the Bubble.
Yeah.
Is that you too, or no?
Well, it is a little bit about me. Sometimes you have to take a little bit of like poetic license, you know.
Do you like pain?
No.
You have allergies?
Do I have allergies? No, but sometimes when I'm at dinner with people, I'm at like a family dinner and I don't really know the family that well, and I'll be eating something with nuts in it and I'll be like, wait, are there nuts in this? And everyone's like, oh my God. I'm like, I'm just kidding. And then everyone is like, oh, that's really funny. And some people get really offended by it.
Right.
But,
But the ice is broken either way. You're in.
Totally.
Cool.
So I don't have any allergies.
Do you like the taste of blood?
No. Well, I don't think it really tastes like anything, right?
It's like iron.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely a taste to it.
Yeah, like an irony taste.
All right. Well, I guess I like it then. I want to be open, yeah.
I don't want to.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want to be closed-minded. It's
Yeah.
2018.
Yeah,
if we're
yeah,
drinking
yeah.
blood,
I can always go back and say I changed my mind, but it's
Yeah.
harder to go the other way. So yeah, I like it. Why
As of
not?
right now.
So, how is it? How is the boy in the bubble about you, and what parts are about you, and how do you kind of like meet? Like, how do you take your experience and then kind of fabricate off of that, or like where did it start?
Well, it started with I think someone sent me this guitar riff, and I wrote all the melody and lyrics, but someone was like, they sent me this guitar thing. I was like, that's really cool. And then I just kind of started writing to it, and the first verse came out, and I was like, what does this mean? I don't know. And I did know a kid in school who tried to pick a fight with me. I've never actually been in a fight, but
I think you do okay.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. Yeah, I was saying.
No.
You don't look like a fighter.
Trying to build
I'm
his
not.
confidence.
I'm not. But I'm of the mindset that if you avoid fights, then you're like, you're more tough.
There you go.
You
Yeah.
use your
go.
words.
I see you.
Exactly. But the kid, I actually ended up becoming friends with him later on, like a few years later. And I had found out that he came from like a really like tough place. And I didn't necessarily like him at first, but I also was able to look at the situation and be like, had I been brought up the same way, I don't know like how I would have felt. So I just wanted to give, or how I would act. So I wanted to give people like we hate bullies and bullies are bad and you shouldn't let them get the best of you, but also understand like where they're coming from, and you don't have to excuse them from what they're doing, but sometimes it's just interesting to think about. That's all I wanted to do in the song.
And you're the boy in the bubble.
Exactly, yeah.
That's what it means.
Dude,
Yeah.
you're so.
Am I? I don't know. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, when you were playing the other records, I mean, Death of a Hero, which hasn't been out yet, it's not released, but like, was that you do write records that are totally like fabricated, right? It's all fiction.
Well, I think there's like an element of truth in all of the songs that I write. Just because some of the stories are directly about me. Like the song Death of a Hero I have is about like, the lyrics are like, I was in Pittsburgh when I saw Superman in the back room. He was doing lines or something in the bathroom. I barely recognized him at all. And the chorus is, that night I put my youth in a casket and buried it inside of me. That night I saw through all the magic, and now I'm a witness to the death of a hero. It's like, I didn't see someone in a Superman costume like doing
No.
cocaine, in
Not
Pittsburgh.
literal.
But that I did have one of my heroes like not fall, but in my eyes, like they died to me on one day. They did something that I never thought they would do, and so that's what that song is about.
I must have listened to that song 150 times.
Cool.
I interpreted that song as like you seeing your dad. You put your youth in a casket, you have to grow up immediately.
A lot of people have said that to me about like when I send it to them, I'd be like, I thought of my dad, or I thought of this, or I thought of that. So I don't want to take that away from you if that's what you think it was about, because that's all good. Like that's what the music is for.
But this idea that you had to instantly grow up, or like your childhood was behind you.
Right.
So you did see your hero.
I did see one of my heroes do something that I didn't like, and it kind of ruined that whole thing for me. About
Who was it?
I can't say.
Was it a musician?
I can't say.
Okay, what'd they do?
They were doing drugs.
La Coca?
Can't say. Yeah, but it was something they just didn't behave in a way that I expected them to. And it's not that they treated me poorly or anything, but it just wasn't what I had in my mind. So
They
it
say
was
you should never meet your heroes.
Yeah.
They say that.
Well, it's true.
Yeah.
I think.
You knowing that, do you see that as a cautionary tale? Because I know that there's people out there right now that have been touched by your lyrics, will continue to be touched
They
by your
should for
lyrics.
sure meet me. I'm lit in person. Like,
Okay, a lit. That's another word you should never say.
no,
again.
that one I started saying as a joke, but then I was like, I would say it as a joke, but now it's become a part of my vocabulary.
So now you have to say it.
Yeah, so now I have to say it.
Fair
You
enough.
have a quota twice a day.
Right. No, I mean, I think it's okay to meet people. Sometimes it's good to have that reality check too. It makes you feel like, I don't know, when everyone feels more human, sometimes things are better. But I don't know, maybe it's not to tell other people like, oh, you shouldn't meet your hero. Maybe it's just a lesson that if people do look up to you, which I hope one day people will, maybe I should just behave differently. Of course, you can never be what people want you to be, so I don't know the answer. That's why I write the songs, so people think about these things. Yeah.
Nice.
So when do you see this hero of yours in the bathroom doing some sort of drugs?
Mm-hmm.
When is that?
What do you mean?
When did that happen?
I was like, well, if I tell you, you'll be able to figure out who it was. But like a year and a half ago.
I'm trying to timeline it out. Okay,
Right.
so that happens. When do you write Death of a Hero?
Like 6 months ago.
Got it. So you really it took a while to reflect on that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. That one took me a minute.
And when you sit down to start a song, like, is it something that sparks inside of you, or do you designate a certain window of time every day where you force yourself to sit down?
Well, it depends, but with the person, so I write songs by myself, and then there are a few people that I like to collaborate with, because sometimes it helps you get out of your head. And I was telling you guys before, like, I always second guess myself, so it's nice to have a sounding board. And there was someone that I was working with. We sat down, and I think like some of the typical sessions, like in LA, like sometimes you're like, well, I want to talk about this or like that, and some people are like, well, why don't we write a song that's more like. Or some people will be like, that doesn't sound like a hit to me or whatever. And it's like, you have to work with the people that are going to let you express yourself. And so I was sitting with my friend, and he was playing on the guitar. And I was like, what if I said, like, I was in Pittsburgh when I saw Superman doing coke? And he was like, let's go. Like, let's do it. And then we got through the song, and I was like, man, I don't think anyone's going to like this. Like, I put my youth in a casket. Like, that's... I don't know, it's weird. And then I sent it to some of my friends who were like, this is really cool. So regardless of what the song ends up being, if it's successful or not, like, I'm proud of it.
But did you know while you were making the song that it was connected to what you had witnessed?
Yes.
You knew.
Mm-hmm.
And The Boy in the Bubble, did you know that this was referencing your childhood? And
Yeah, that one not immediately, but like after I got like halfway through the first verse, I knew. But with Death of a Hero, I knew immediately like what it was going to be about.
Got it. Were you alone for The Boy in the Bubble?
When I wrote it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah.
So you just start, and then like that's pretty crazy.
Sometimes it's hard. Like sometimes the song process takes a little bit longer. But you know what's interesting? Something that I do, or maybe it might not be interesting, but something that I do is like,
I'll tell you.
I always sit down and read things and like try to find titles and things that inspire me. And so with Death of a Hero, I saw something. I was reading some poems, and one of the poems was like, Death of a something, and then I was like, that's cool. What do I know that died?
There you go.
And then I work backwards. That's how I write a lot of my songs.
That's interesting.
There's a
Oh, I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you. I'm happy that I said it.
I thought
Nice
of
little
Death of-
tidbit.
I thought of Death of a Bachelor from Panic at the Disco.
You know, surprisingly, I love that song, but that's not where that title came from.
Okay.
Yeah, but I do love that song, and I love Brendan.
great
Gray.
album.
And I watched the interview you did with him. It was awesome.
thank you.
Yeah,
He's a good person.
it seems like it.
Yeah, I'm like on a whole campaign to get him and Logic to do a collaboration together.
Oh, that would be awesome.
I'm working. Can I get your vote?
Yeah, you got my
If
vote.
it goes to a vote,
Sure, I'll vote.
Thank
Why
you.
not?
What's he gonna do? Vote down? Say no?
Yeah, who's gonna say no?
I vote for that. I'm in. Let's go.
I love how you in the at least in the Let Me Down Slowly music video, it says narrated by Alec Benjamin.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing, right?
Yeah, I think that song is a little bit less of a narrative than my other songs, so it may come across a little bit more in the other videos, like for Death of a Hero and The Boy in the Bubble. But essentially, like, that is what I'm doing. And I always feel uncomfortable being... I don't act. I tried to act one time.
Not good.
No. It was so uncomfortable.
I would love to see the footage.
I would love for you to not see the footage. Yeah.
Nobody can see it ever.
But I decided, like, well, maybe if I'm not an actor, you know what? I could do that thing where you, like, walk, like, serious, you know? But once I have lines or I have to do something, then the whole thing falls apart.
So acting.
Yeah.
If they're asking you to do anything besides walk,
Yeah.
I'm so good at walking, bro.
you're gonna want me to walk in every movie.
You should watch me and my homies walk. It's
Yeah, I'm
lit.
great at it. But I think, yeah, the role that I have is the narrator, because that's kind of how I feel in my life too. It's like I see these things unfold, and then I'm just telling the story. Like, I'm just talking about them. A lot of these stories, like, I'm not even 100% in always.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And also, sometimes I feel isolated too, like a little bit like I'm on the outside, and maybe that's where that comes from.
Would you rather be on the outside from an artist perspective, or would you rather be on the inside?
I don't know. Sometimes I think I do it to myself, and I'm not even sure if I do it on purpose or not. But a lot of times, like in high school or stuff, like I would always just like not go to things or like just watch or not say anything. And I don't know if it's better to be in it or not.
When you were watching, do you walk away with thoughts on what you're soaking in? Do you?
I think way too much, so I always have like a lot of thoughts in my head. So yeah.
Yeah, so you're just gathering.
Yeah, I'm always thinking about things.
What scares you about a conversation with somebody?
Well, I'm afraid that I'm going to say something stupid. I hope I haven't done that so far. But what scares me about a conversation with someone? In what way? What do you mean?
I mean, like, you're in high school. You don't want to join the dance. You just want to hang out in the corner.
And bob your head.
Yeah.
Well, I'm definitely, well, I don't know if this has anything to do with my songs. Maybe I'm exposing too much. But, like, I get, like, anxious about things. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just the thing that I have a lot to say, and while I'm there, I'm a little bit too nervous or afraid to say it. I'm afraid of rejection, and so maybe putting it in my songs is my way of saying it. And I hope that the songs do well so that those people who are there hear it. I don't know.
But they're going to hear it 2 hours after, or 2 years after you witness it all go down.
As long as they hear it, then I have the last word. Yeah. It's all good.
Remember that 8th grade dance 10 years ago?
Yo, but I'm like that though. Like I don't forget things. Yeah. So maybe, I don't know.
I am so sorry to interrupt the interview. I'll just be real quick. Get Quip. It's the best toothbrush out there. I'm obsessed with this thing. It sticks right to my mirror. It's timed out perfectly, so I always know that I'm brushing the right amount. They send me refill heads like every month, and that's not just for convenience, it's for my health. Plus, Quip is an amazing toothbrush. It's electric, and it starts at only $25. $25 for really the best toothbrush you will ever buy. I got it for Dan, Heather, my mom, my sister, my dad. Oprah uses this toothbrush, so why shouldn't you? Quip, seriously, it's the best. Go to getquip.com/sang, and you're going to get a toothbrush starting at $25, and your free refill pack will follow. That's right, you'll get something free if you go to getquip.com/sang. Try out the Quip toothbrush. You'll love it, but I really want you to tell me what you think. So use it and get back to me. Getquip.com/sang. Okay, back to the interview.
Do you ever try to write songs like while you're going through something or right after it happened? Does it just not work?
Well, it has, but having some time to reflect lets you know how you truly feel about something. So it does work sometimes, but it's not as cathartic as you would think it is. Like, it usually makes me feel worse sometimes. Like, when my grandpa passed away is when I wrote my first song when I was 16, and I wrote that like when I was in it, you know? And it worked. It's just different sometimes, you know? Sometimes, well, you have more time to write about songs, or you have more time to write about things like when you set aside time to write, and sometimes that just happens after. So I don't know if it's just circumstantial, like, oh, I'm writing now. So, because when you're having those experiences, you don't necessarily have the time to sit down and write out your feelings.
Yeah.
Do you note your feelings, or do you you're in the moment? And
I
then
do now.
You do.
I become more conscious of how I feel, and if someone will say something, I'm like, oh, that's a good song title. I'm gonna write that down. And it's taken me a long time to get to that point, because when I was younger, like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I was watching a video of John Mayer, and he was saying, yeah, he wrote this song called Stitched Up, and he was sitting with I think his bassist or Steve Jordan, who is his producer and drummer, and he said, like, oh, you're all stitched up, and John was like, oh, that's a good title, and he wrote it down, and I was like, man, I've never done that, and I was like, maybe I should just pay attention, and it's taken me a long time to get to the point where when someone says something in life, I can take it and put it into a song. I'm aware of it. Yeah, that awareness has taken me a long time.
But like you said earlier, sometimes when you soak in something that you need to soak in, it will just naturally flow back into a song, even without you taking the notes.
Yes. What? Sometimes I have like.
Yes.
Sometimes in my head, I'm like, I like will listen to something and then I'll say yes and I'll totally not remember what you said.
No. Like
I get accused of being high, like sometimes.
You're
and
not.
I'm not. I don't.
You don't drink either.
I don't drink. Yeah, you know. I don't drink. I don't smoke or anything like that. I'm just sometimes spacey. You know.
Which isn't a bad thing. It makes
All right.
you who you are.
All right, I appreciate that.
How would you describe yourself?
How as what? In what way?
Make a dating profile.
Oh my God.
What would you put on that?
Yo, I've been on like a few dates on like an online dating thing.
Which one?
I went on Bumble one time.
Oh, cool.
I just didn't kill it. No,
No, stop.
But like, no, for real. But like making a profile is like, that's the hardest part. Cause I was saying to my friend, I was like, yo, like I'm not meeting anyone, like I'm not matching with anyone really. And he was like, dude, like you gotta have a good bio, like that's important. And I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that. And then I didn't know what to say. So that's one of the hardest questions I've ever been asked. So what would I say? I don't know. But if I had to describe myself, it's kind of hard because right now it's weird. Like I'm so focused and dedicated to my music that like everything I am is all wrapped up in this one thing. And it's like cool and it's not cool at the same time. And when you're in a band, even though like, yeah, like you are part of your band, sometimes when there's even just a name associated with it that's not your own name, there's a little bit of separation between you and your music. But everything I do is wrapped up. Like my name is Alec Benjamin. But then, like, you know, sometimes I'll want to post something online that's like Alec Benjamin. Like, my Instagram is for my music, and it's also for, like, personal friends and stuff like that. And it's, like, it's weird. So it's hard to describe myself.
I get it. Yeah, there's also no separation. Like,
yeah.
It's all you.
It is. But that's because I'm honest with my music, too. So it's like when you put something out there, it's not, it's me. Like, you know.
Do you feel like you need to, like, tell somebody if you get into a, like, I saw you with somebody when you came to the house last time. Mm-hmm. Did that girl get to a point where like you were inspired by her? Yeah. To write a song?
Well, that relationship was very short-lived. So
no.
There was enough time.
No, but maybe I will be in the future. That was pretty recent, so I need to maybe give it a minute.
You got to marinate.
See what happens.
Let it stew.
Because I actually did feel bad. Like I actually liked her, and then she just didn't hit me back. And I was like, damn.
What do you think you did?
What?
What do you think you did?
I don't know. That's what freaks me out the most because I don't want to do it again.
It's the unknown.
Yeah, the unknown that's what freaks me out the most. And so I was like I try to be very conscious of that. Like, I don't know, just like always try to respond to messages and stuff because sometimes I'm bad at that because I'm spacey. Not with girls or whatever, just with anyone. It's getting left hanging is not fun. It's not fun. And I'm trying to grow up, so that's something that I'd like to not do to people. Yeah, because it hurt.
I feel really bad because I think I've left your texts hanging.
No.
Once or twice.
I'm here now.
You're right.
Yeah,
Thanks
so it's
for
all
coming.
good. We closed the loop.
That's officially closed. You're doing a festival with Shawn Mendes and a bunch of other cool people.
Yeah.
What is your live set going to look like? Do you have a band? Is it just going to be you?
It's just me right now. Yeah, so just me on stage. I'm really nervous. But yeah.
Listen, I would be too.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. At least it helps to know that I'm not alone though.
Yeah.
Why are you nervous?
Why am I nervous?
Let's break this down.
Because there's a lot of variables that I can't control, and so those things freak me out.
What's your top variable that freaks you out the most?
I don't know how the crowd is going to respond to my music. Yeah, I of course can't control that. So, but there's a lot of other things like I don't know what the stage setup is going to be, and if a crowd will be responsive to my music, if it will have enough dynamic without a band. You know, I always perform without a band, but it seems to work, but it's still scary.
Do you feel safer alone on stage?
I wouldn't know because I've never performed with a band.
Wow. Do you want to?
I don't know yet. It depends. I'm just starting to do like my own headline shows and stuff now. And I think it will just be a kind of learn as you go thing. But I like how intimate it feels when it's just you and a guitar in the audience. And that's it.
Ed Sheeran's doing a pretty good job with that.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, he kills it.
Dude.
I'm a huge fan.
And he's playing like arenas and stuff, so.
I've envisioned the Alec Benjamin arena tour.
Okay.
Your songs are so, dude, they engulf a human being.
Thanks.
Just due to how vivid they are. So anything else is a distraction. And I think people are just going to get lost in the lyrics and your voice. Your voice is very unique.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Sometimes people in the comments will be like, you sound like a girl.
Is that do you care?
What?
No. Honestly, I actually don't. Like, those comments don't bother me. People are actually way friendlier than people are very friendly. And sometimes there's an odd person who will say something rude, and then, like, you see, like, 30 people who support me be like, no, like, they're like, trying to go.
Your homies defending you.
Yeah. I mean, not that I want people to fight, but it's nice to have people have your back. So that's cool.
When did you realize you can sing?
Well, I'm still figuring it out because I learned something new about singing every day. But I decided to sing in high school. I started music really late. Maybe like junior year in high school is when I decided to sing. And I was like, I just didn't have anything else going on that I really was passionate about. And so I thought like it would be a good way to meet girls.
There you go. Yeah.
And I honestly haven't met one girl in music. There you go. Yeah, but I fell in love with music, so it's all good.
So that's the marriage that will really last.
I'm married to the game,
There you go.
So do you realize you can sing after you write the song for your grandpa?
Well, I sang. Is that when I realized that I could sing? I mean, then I was just kind of going for it. Like, I didn't know if anyone was going to listen to me or anything. And I think everybody can sing, though. It's like, when did you realize you can sing? Like, everybody has a voice. So I think, like, I kind of always knew that I could sing. When did I realize that it would be something that people might like to listen to? I'm still figuring out if they will or not. But anyone, you can sing.
No, just
you
not
guys
well.
can sing.
I mean, not.
Yeah.
But I think.
Stretch.
Well, I mean, everybody has a unique voice, even if maybe you don't like the sound of it, so anyone can sing. Like, anyone can sing, you just have to find the right things to sing for you. Like maybe you don't want to sing a Whitney Houston song. It's all good. Like, a lot of people wouldn't consider, like, Willie Nelson a conventionally good singer.
No, you're right.
That's true.
But I love his voice.
Bob Dylan, too?
Yeah, Bob Dylan as well. So it's not about the tool. Oftentimes, it's about how you use it. And so, like, it sounded super sexual. All right, we can cut that out. No.
Oh no, it's saying it.
All right, but it's true. It's true. It is. It's really how you use it. Because, like, even like my favorite acts, like Blink-182, like, they don't get out there and go like, but like, they do their thing and it works with their songs.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. But maybe there's a band out there that's just waiting for a voice like mine.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I don't think
Zach Sang
anyone's
band.
waiting for
That's,
that.
if there's any musicians out there looking for a real vocalist with real grit, call me up. You got a festival. That's a big deal, man. It's huge, performing with Shawn Mendes.
I'm excited.
Is it going to be like a big Shawn Mendes crowd?
Probably, yeah.
And do you know Shawn Mendes?
I don't, but I met him one time because, well, when I got started, I moved out to California, and I went to school here because my parents were like, do you want to, okay, this is a long story, but basically, I was signed to a record label and then I got dropped, and my parents were like, if you go to California, you have to go to school, so I went to college, and then I got signed, and then I dropped out of school, and then I got dropped, and I found myself just like playing in parking lots in front of people's shows to get fans. That's how I like built up my fan base, because I didn't own my music after I got dropped. I made a whole record, didn't own any of the songs. And so I was playing online for Shawn Mendes fans in Paris one time, and I got to meet him.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was cool. I played like 100 parking lots, like just I printed out like thousands of cards at Staples, and I would just go outside Troye Sivan shows, Shawn Mendes shows, like anyone who had a line, and just sing for people online. I would be like, yo, can I sing for you? And some people were like, no, that's weird. I'm like, all right, next person.
You're missing out.
Yeah, well, I don't know, maybe not, but who knows?
What do you learn about yourself as an artist and as a human?
I've learned,
when you're doing that?
I guess this isn't the only thing I've learned about myself, but I have learned how bad I want to be a musician. Like, I wasn't sure the lengths that I was going to go to after I didn't know that if I had gotten dropped from a record label that I would still want to get up and keep going. I didn't know like what I would be willing to do personally, and I've surprised myself in a lot of ways.
What fuels that motivation?
I guess I just really love music, and I want to be able to keep making music. And so I'm down to like sing in a parking lot. I would go and sit there 6-7 hours and sing on the street, cars passing by. Like, it's not easy on your voice, but I would just do it because I knew it's what I had to do. So,
well, in these parking lot shows, did you ever start to get a crowd of your own? Like, would people come knowing you were going to be there? You
know what? It's interesting because I would do so many that people would be like, oh, I saw that guy last time. And then they would like start, they would come around and listen. And then I was taking some pictures the other day, and found this girl online who's like a super dope photographer. And so we met up with her. And I was like, why do I know you? And she's like, oh, I think you sang for me online at a Jacob Whiteside
There
show
you
one
go.
time. I was like, oh, for sure. Like, I did. So people knew about it, you know?
It's so cool.
So how does Shawn Mendes meet you? Is he like, who is this kid singing outside of my show all the time?
No, I don't think that he had heard about it, but someone had like an extra ticket, and then I knew someone going, and they were like, oh, do you want to come with me? And I was like, yeah. I don't think he even knows I sang outside of his concert.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I'll tell him.
Definitely bring that
You
up.
should tell him.
Yeah.
I will.
That
He'll probably be like, dude, that's uncool. Like, why are you doing that?
Not cool, bro. Not cool.
no,
I
cool.
think
So
it's,
nice.
it's the opposite.
No, he'll love it.
And any artist, like that's. There's a lot of musicians who think they could just be musicians if they get a hit song, or they just picked up a guitar and 2 months later they're in a studio making hits. I don't know. That's real drive.
It's a wild world. Some things happen that way, and it doesn't happen that way for some people, and it didn't happen that way for me. So,
Why do you need music? Do you need music as a release for yourself so you can make it through the day and go through, live through these experiences, or do you need music for, I don't know, it's other sorts of gratification?
For me, it's just I have a lot to say, and that's why I need it to say what I want to say. Always had a drive to express myself, and people are just more, music is the vehicle, it's the vessel to deliver my words, and so that's why I need it, because otherwise I can't express myself.
Do you write poems that aren't songs?
Yep.
How often?
Pretty often. I always try to turn them into songs, but sometimes there's just nothing else to say, so it becomes just a poem.
What do you have, a notebook? Is it
No,
on
I just
your
use
phone?
my phone. Yeah.
How many songs are you sitting on?
Over the last 7 months, I've written a song. 6 months. I try to write a song every day.
Wow.
130 or something like that. Wow. Maybe a little less, 115. I don't know, something like that.
Out of that, how many do you want to see the light of day?
Well, I mean, I'd love for all of them to see the light of day, but I don't think that's possible. So.
Well, I mean, you've gone into a really good rhythm with YouTube. You just post records up there and just kind of let them thrive.
Let them do their thing. I mean, some of them, not all of them. I'm not in love with all of them, so some of them I don't want to come out. But I'd like to get out over the next year, 20 songs, something like that.
Cool. Is there a song released or unreleased that we could listen to get to know you the best?
I think, well, ultimately, it will all come together as a project. So I think just listening through to the whole thing would be a good way to get to know me. So
Just listen to the whole album, guys.
But I mean, I don't want to tell people which song to focus on, because everyone's going to get something different out of it. And the ones I put out, I'm comfortable with people hearing, so it could be anyone.
Is there a song that you're not comfortable with people hearing?
Yeah, I won't put those out.
How many of those exist?
A good bit.
And
yeah.
What fuels you being uncomfortable?
About the song?
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't get across what I wanted to say in a way that makes sense. Sometimes I get 75% of the way there. Someone will be like, oh, well, I don't get it. And it's like, okay, I need to try that again.
Got it. Will people hear Nuclear Winter?
No.
Darn it. Good record.
That's just for you.
Thank you.
Just for you.
How'd you meet Jon Bellion?
I was playing a festival a long time ago, and it was in the UK, and he was just there, and we kind of hey, what's up? And he knew me. He didn't know me. We met there, and then after that he was familiar with me, and I knew he was going on his first tour, playing pretty small venues, and I wanted to meet him and send him my songs. So I decided that I was just going to drive home to see him in Arizona instead of seeing him in LA, because LA show is bigger and a lot of important people were there. And I went to the Arizona show. I drove out with my dad overnight. And then after the show, I was like, hey, you remember me? And we hung out. And then I was like, can I send you music? And he was like, sure. And I sent him my music, and he liked it.
Did you send him New York Soul Part 2?
No, I sent him the song I have called I Built a Friend, and he was like, oh, that song is really cool. Come write with me. And so I wrote with him when he was in LA. We worked on that song together. And then he called me a year later, and he was like, song's coming out. It's on the record. I'm keeping your voice on it. I was like, oh, cool.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
So you left that session just a day with him with New York Soul Part 2 done?
Yeah.
Cool. What'd you bring to that?
Mostly lyrics and stuff on the hook. Obviously, I didn't write any like of the rap or anything, so I just worked on the chorus.
Lay me down in Brooklyn.
If I lose my life, push me down the Hudson and turn on the radio. Yeah, I did that part with him, and I sang it, so I contributed my voice.
Nice.
yeah.
Pretty cool.
Dude, it's a
Yeah, it was
great
cool.
song.
It was
I got
very
paid
cool.
for that, didn't you?
You know,
Not as much as the world thinks.
look, I make music because I love making music, so I wasn't really worried about that. And at that time, like I was like shelved on the label, so I didn't care about money. I was just like, yo, I got a shot, like let's go, you know. And like I went out on the road with him, and you know, he put me on his tour bus or whatever. But it wasn't about getting paid. It was like, it was so gratifying to me that people were gonna hear me sing, you know. I think that's what still makes music really special. And you know, shouts out to my parents for still letting me be at home until I figure out my
And also to your dad for driving you to freaking Arizona in the middle of the night.
My parents are the best. Like they're ride or die for
Nice.
sure.
Well, because they live out here too now, right?
They do now, yeah, but they didn't move for me, but they do live here, so
Cool.
it worked out in my favor. Yeah, I have a place to sleep and food to eat.
Oh, good.
So that's dope.
I Built a Friend is another great song. Water Fountain, Paper Crown. Got some good songs, my
Thanks.
friend. If you haven't heard of Alec Benjamin, I'm actually going to beg you to give his music a real solid listen and to continue to listen as you keep dropping new songs because
Cool.
you tell stories like that I've never heard before. I don't know, like I've been moved to tears by your songs.
Thanks.
It's everything. It's the lyrics, it's your voice, it's I don't know, man. You're super freaking special.
Thanks, guys.
What everybody else's vibe? How you doing?
I'm
Super.
doing good.
Any other questions?
No.
No?
Awesome. How did I do?
You did really good. How do you think you did?
I'm not really sure. It's kind of like it's all blur now. And then when I see it, I'll probably be like, man, I wish I didn't say that. And I speak really fast, and I'm in my head. I've been like, be slow. But I
You've
know.
been okay with that, I
All
think.
right, we'll find out.
Yeah.
We'll see.
You're
when
gonna
we see it back.
obsessively watch this.
Yes, I will.
But you, July 9th, right? Is that festival?
Yes.
Look at you.
I know it's like a very generic radio question, but like, are you working with anybody? Any big names right now?
Well, I have plans to work with Jon again, which will be cool. But you know, we'll see how it pans out. I mean, he's busy, and we'll just see what happens. But we're
You're
gonna hang
busy
out.
too. You got a billboard in Times Square.
I'm gonna write a song with Julia Michaels. That'll be really
Whoa.
Oh,
cool.
yeah, that
Nice.
is big.
Yeah, after Let Me Down Slowly came out, she tweeted me. She's like, I love that song. We should write together. So I'm going to work with her. That'll be really fun.
Now, are you nervous for that, or do you feel like Julia's gonna understand you?
I'm sure I'll be nervous, yeah. I'm nervous for everything. But I'm looking forward to it.
Cool.
So I think she'll get me. Why not?
Will
I
you
think she will.
will you enter that room with something
Yeah.
like an idea?
You got to come in with an idea. Even if you don't use it, you know. It's much better to be prepared than to not be prepared. Yeah.
You got to do your homework.
You have to. Sometimes it's and you really can feel the difference when you don't, even if it doesn't pan out. And if it doesn't work out, you can look back and at least say I tried my best. So
That's all you gotta do.
bringing
There you go.
everything full circle.
Full circle.
Yeah.
Full album? Is that the goal?
There's a goal, but probably a project first, but we'll see.
A project? What?
Like an album, but like not called an
EPs?
album yet. Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
like a mixtape or something.
Mixtape.
Yeah,
That's
but
old school.
it's just songs, you know what I mean?
Play it for your homies.
Exactly. Yeah.
It'll be lit, bro.
Yeah.
One song of yours, you said mixtape, and that reminded me, there was one song of yours that reminds me of Jack's Mannequin.
I love Jackson.
And
I love
was
that
it
song too.
Mixtape
Mixtape is
for
a good
real?
song,
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
So-
is morning.
Yeah, that one.
Yo, my 7th grade girlfriend made that for me on a mixtape, actually.
nice.
Yeah. So I love that song.
Yeah.
But brings back a lot of memories, so
It's a good song.
yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
Nice.
Alec Benjamin.
Thanks, guys.
Ended on Jack's Mannequin.
Dude, I appreciate you deeply. Thank you for the chocolate.
Yeah, anytime.
This really means a lot. And by the way, mi casa es tu casa, so you should come here often. And as you drop new records, you should always come by and just share the story. 'Cause
Okay.
you have a spot on that couch whenever you want.
Great. Thank you.
Appreciate you
I'll
deeply.
be here tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow.
That's cool.
Are we still filming? I can't.
We never stop.
not
Alec
sure.
Benjamin, everybody.
Doesn't know which camera to look at.
I really hope you enjoyed that conversation. If you did, please subscribe and also check out our podcast. There's a link in the description, and also comment and like and do things. Other interviews are on the screen somewhere, so click them. Thanks for watching.